What's up, guys? Resale Rabbit here. Wow, this is bad lighting. I am going to move this. Much better. Not great, but much better. This video is for kjac23, who says a long comment about how he's sick of watching the same videos over and over again, and I gave you guys a bunch of videos last week and suddenly none. So this one's for you. I was gonna do this earlier, but YouTube was having some sort of issue where I couldn't upload it. So before we get into everything, I want to talk about something that's gonna make camera people cringe. We've all had this issue. We buy a camera at the thrift store and the lens has a filter on it and the filter is bent from being dropped and you can't get it off. So how do I get it off? Well, I've got, oh, that's a little shaky. I've got a couple options that I do. Of course, first I try and twist it off with all of my might, and if I don't, I use some needle nose pliers. I grab on the edge of the filter and kind of twist it off, and that usually works. If that doesn't work, well, I got a couple of other options. That has always worked for me, but today it didn't work, so I grabbed my channel lock pliers and went all the way around the thing and tried to twist it off, and that didn't work either. So here's where it's really gonna make camera people cringe, and if you do this, you are taking a lot of risk in damaging the lens. I took the end of my needle nose pliers and I broke the glass on the filter. Now this is very risky because that glass could go in and actually scratch the lens, rendering it useless. So remember that when you're doing it. Careful, careful, careful. Luckily I didn't damage anything. I was able to break the glass, get all the pieces of glass out, and then get a better hold with my needle nose pliers, and it came off nice and easy. So keep that in mind if you've got a filter that is stuck on a lens because it was bent or dropped or something. Of course, you know, always try and bend it back before you take it off, but sometimes that doesn't work. So I've dealt with this so many times, probably just in the last year, 20 or 30 times. So I just did that this time. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. But that is not why we're here. We are here talking about what things you should stock up on. Someone asked if I know Chris Ness, who lives in Green Bay. No. I know Green Bay is a small town, but there is like 100,000 people here. I know a few of them. So what should you stock up on for selling on eBay and Amazon? Well, we've all seen my videos showing my remotes, all of the remotes that I store in the file cabinet for VCRs, DVD players, and whatnot. That is something that I definitely stock up on. For you guys, that I know not everybody works out of a warehouse. A lot of you are working out of a spare bedroom or a garage or something. You might want to stock up on some common remotes. Maybe not quite to the extent I am, maybe not in a huge file cabinet, but let's set this down a minute. But that is something you want to stock up on. Another thing to stock up on is batteries. Now, of course, AA and AAA, but let me show you the other batteries that I have. I bought these on eBay a while ago, and they were cheap. I don't remember how much they were, but they're these little button-sized batteries, the kjac23. I use these so often. It got to the point where I had a pile of stuff that needed these and was too lazy to go to the store and get them. So I've got a whole bunch of them. I just buy them on eBay. A whole bunch here. I just buy them on eBay and use them as needed. Some small calculators or you know, those little Franklin dictionaries and whatnot. Definitely want to stock up on those. They're cheap. I think I paid like $3 or $4 per pack, less than $1 per battery. I didn't get any brand name ones. They're just cheap ones. I can't imagine there's that big of a deal if you're going, you know, the big name or the small name. But those are something that take up like no space. That's definitely good to stock up on. The other thing that I think is really important, and I want to show you my setup here, so let me flip this around, is cords. I've got these all set up and I save cords. Just like this, all of these. Now these are organized by voltage. I haven't labeled them yet because I just started setting this up. I used to have them set up in boxes on this bottom shelf here, but I cleared all that off and it makes it a lot easier because before I was just digging through bins like this and I could never find the right ones. So now we are organized here, and I've got them organized well. Starting out, I've got micro USBs, I've got mini USBs, I've got these 2-prong things that I use a lot. You'd be surprised how common I need them. So I've got a bunch of those, and then I've got the 3-prong ones like that mixed in with these 3-prong ones. Don't use them often, but I need them occasionally. Coming up to this one is like printer cables when I sell printers, scanners, things like that occasionally need them. I also keep headphones and things like that in there if I'm selling a Walkman or something like that. This is the little USB adapters. Whenever I see these, especially at the outlet, I grab them, I throw them in here. And then we start with the voltages. This I think is under 4, and then we get like 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up. I keep some common ones in here for printers and iHomes and things that I use often. Then we just continue down the list of voltages here. That way I can quick grab one and find one. And then this is just extra things, phone cords, iPod cords. This is for a Palm Pilot, just random extra things. This way I can find exactly what I need very quick. And then I keep Game Boy or handheld game chargers in here. I also have a bunch of boxes. See those white ones right there with video game controllers and stuff. But this way I can quick find something. If I get something in a thrift store, for example, oh, I don't know, this thing. This, I would look on the back, it's 5 volt, let's see, 5 volt, 1 amp. And I would go in the 5 volt drawer. Now the reason that's on the shelf is because I don't have one of those, but I've already found several occasions where I was able to quickly find it. So it is well worth it. Now you can store them in boxes by voltage, in drawers like that. There are many ways. Someone asked about the amperage. Let me flip this around. So the most important thing is the voltage. If you go too high in voltage, you will like blow something up. I accidentally put a 24 volt cord on a phone that needed like a 6 volt, and it literally had a loud pop and started smoking. That you want to be exact, the exact voltage. Amps or milliamps doesn't need to be exact, but you want it to be as close as possible. If you go a little bit too low, it could not draw enough power. Now, I'm not an electrical guy. I don't even know what these things mean. I'm just, in my experience, if something needs 5 volts, 1 amp, which is 1,000 milliamps, if I did 5 volts, 900 milliamps, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's going to work. That is in my experience. I don't know about this stuff specifically. If there's someone that knows about electrical stuff, what all these numbers mean, comment below, because I would appreciate the knowledge, and I'm sure the other viewers would as well. As far as storing the different amperage, I just store them by volt. A 4.7 volt cord will go in the 4 volt drawer. It still requires a little bit of digging, but not as much as one box with all the voltages and amperages stacked up and piled up. So it's nice to have that. The other things, I will stock up on phone batteries. Let me walk back over here. I've got these. I order these like 60 at a time on Amazon. They cost me, I think it's a 16 pack like this cost me like 10, 12, 15 bucks, something like that. These are for phones. They are the 400 milliamp hour batteries, 1.2 volt. They work, almost every Panasonic phone requires these. Now Panasonic phones are 550 milliamp hours. These are 400, so they're not quite as good. But it's either that or 1,000, and I'm cheap. So brand new batteries are going to be better than better batteries that are used. I always include brand new batteries. It helps me increase the selling price. It sells faster, and the customers are happier. It also saves me time because I don't need to sit there and test to make sure the batteries last forever. I also keep a couple of common phone batteries on hand. I don't really have any laying around that I can show you. Let me pull this dead one out of this phone here. I think this is, yes, this one. I don't know how well you're gonna see it, but it's got the little hashes on either side there. And it is a 2.4 volt battery. That goes to a lot of AT&T and VTech phones. They don't all use it, but many of them do, so I will commonly keep those around. Unfortunately, I don't have any left. I just placed an order, so I'll get those probably next week sometime. So I'm always keeping batteries, I'm always keeping cords, remotes, things like that around for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's cheaper. If I find these things at the Goodwill outlet, it costs me next to nothing as opposed to ordering one on eBay. The second reason is it's quicker. I can get the item listed right away rather than waiting, a week for something to come from eBay or a couple of days from Amazon. I can get it listed the second I buy it. So definitely recommend keeping stuff like this on hand. Even if you don't have a lot of space, you know, have a little shelf in your closet for this stuff. You don't need a ton of space. I really have it spread out to make it, you know, so I can stack it more, but I've got the space for it. If you have the space for it, use it up. That's about all I've got for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.